getting formed. Melee in each group are going to make an order. Melee with a mark above your head. You will be the ones that go in. DPS during the first phase. Melee that don't have a mark above their head, you will stay to the back of the room. What's going to happen is the first main spell that Cethon's going to have is a Chain Lightning ability. So when we enter the room, we are going to enter in groups, and we are going to filter in one at a time. So what's going to happen is the odd groups will be on the left side of the doorway, the even groups will be on the right. When we begin the poll, we're going to have a nice countdown, and then the first person in groups 1 and 2 will go, followed by the second people in group 1 and 2, and then the third, and then the fourth, and then the fifth. Once the fifth person in the first 2 groups goes, groups 3 and 4 will start, and the first person in those groups will follow the last person in the previous group. In the same order will go, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just like before, the next 2 groups will start. First person will follow the last person. Once the person gets to the bottom of the stairs, that is when you can move around into the doorway and to your position. Can we get that map posted, please? Those are your starting positions for each group that is labeled. Once you go around the corner, once you get into the doorway, you're committed. Whether you're in the right position, the right order or not, you have to go into Cethon's room. You can't stop in the doorway. You have to commit and go. Once you get in, you're going to spread out. Remember your rings, DPS and healer rings. Melee, make sure you're max range from the boss. Look to your left, look to your right, guys. In front,
User
behind.
joined your channel.
If you got extra room, use it. It means someone else doesn't have room. This is a huge survival fight, and linking is the #1 reason people die, so make sure you keep a close eye on all the position around you. Make sure nobody's close. If you can move out of their way, move out of the way the best you can. It's not a DPS race. If you can't DPS the boss, that's fine. Just make sure you live. So after we filter it into the room, small eyes will spawn. Small eyes don't have a lot of health, but they do a Mind Flay. It can be interrupted. We'll nuke those down. Right after the small eyes spawn, the Dark Glare will be next. Now, Dark Glare is a second ability. What's going to happen is he's going to pick a random person in the raid, turn and look at them with his eyeball. So when the small eyes spawn, everybody needs to turn their camera angle, look up at the eye, see what he's looking at. If he turns and looks in your direction, you need to start moving to the left or move to the right. He's going to cast a beam. If that beam hits you, it's going to kill you in one shot. Once he casts the beam, he's going to keep the beam out, and he's going to rotate the beam 180 degrees, either clockwise or counterclockwise. Now, while this beam is out, nobody needs to do any damage. Everybody needs to stay spread out, and they need to rotate 180 degrees in the direction with the beam. You want to stay spread out. You don't want to cast. You don't want to run all the way to your spot as fast as you can. You just stay spread out, kind of where you are, and you just slowly shuffle around.
User entered your channel.
Do not run through the raid group. Once you make 180 degrees, his beam will stop casting. Everybody will make sure you're spread out still. And then we'll continue DPS. During that time, a small tentacle is going to spawn, does not have much health. Kill it if you can. And that'll be the first phase. We'll filter in, small eyes will spawn. Right after the small eyes, a dark glare will happen. We'll stay spread out, shuffle around the room, 180 degrees, and then we back to DPS. Now once the first phase, once the eye dies, the second phase will begin. Once the eye dies, we will all collapse at the 6 o'clock position, right on the edge of the portal, where all the marks will be collapsing. Everybody will stack on the marks. First thing that'll spawn in the second phase is going to be a large tentacle. Melee, it's your job to kill this. Casters, I want you to do 1 or 2 casts and then spread out to your original starting positions. Melee will continue to kill the large tentacle. Right after the large tentacle, small eyes will spawn, and similar to phase 1, they do a Mind Flay, interrupt it, silence it, whatever. Kill them as fast as you can. Small eyes are a huge priority, guys. They need to die as fast as they can. After the small eyes spawn, a large eye is going to spawn. Now this is the most important part in phase 2. When the large eye spawns, we need a map ping. Everybody needs to that can stun. It needs to watch the debuffs, make sure you're not overstunning. The object of the large eye is going to be to stun lock it and DPS it down as fast as we can. Any tanks or paladins that want to help stun lock, you can. Just make sure you stun and then walk away. If you're near the eye, you don't have to be, and you can back up safely, make sure you back away. The more room you can give people around the large eye, the better. Once the large eye is down, small eyes will spawn again. When these small eyes spawn, same as the first set, we'll kill them. They do the mind flay. Once we kill them, we'll all collapse back at the 6 o'clock position, and the cycle will restart. Large tentacle, casters 1 or 2 casts, spread out to your original positions. Small eyes will spawn, we'll kill the small eyes. Large eye will spawn, it'll do the chain lightning, we'll stun lock it, DPS it down as best we can. Another set of small eyes will spawn. Right after those small eyes, we'll collapse in the 6 o'clock position. Now, while all this is happening, randomly people are going to be eaten in the stomach. Can we get a macro? Someone post your macro. Now you need to have a macro like that says you've been in the stomach. When you get into the stomach, there's going to be 2 little islands, one to the left, one to the right. There'll be a tentacle in front of each island. If you're the first person in the stomach, you run to the right island, start attacking the right tentacle. Once the right tentacle dies, you switch over to the left island, attack the left tentacle. Once both tentacles are dead, Sethan went to a weaken phase where we can actually do damage to him in phase 2. Things about the stomach to keep in mind, you're going to get a stacking debuff, which means once you get too many stacks, you're probably going to die, so watch your health. If you start taking too much damage, run beyond the 2 little islands, there'll be a stone little platform. Just run on a circle in that platform, kind of like you're entering Nax, and you'll get ported out of his stomach. Do not die in the stomach. Pay very close attention. We're going to need a lot of communication for people in the stomach. I want to know when the left tentacle gets to 50%. And then we'll let you know how far to push it, if to hold DPS. So if you're on the left tentacle and it reads 50%, you need to calmly say something in TeamSpeak or say something in Raid Chat. But like I said before, this is a survival fight. So make sure you stay spread out unless we're collapsed. Live as much as you can. Nature potions, you should be taking those now. This is not a real DPS race. There's only a few parts on this fight that are DPS race. So if you can't DPS because you're going to link or something, just stay back. Don't freak out. Don't run across the raid. Just stay calm. Do not link as the main aspect of this fight.